How's it going, guys? So today's video is a little different. I've been wanting to do a video like this for a good while now, but I just haven't had the time to do it. So let me just give you a background of why I'm making this video. So in the Pokemon community, there's a lot of new players that are coming into the scene. Lots of people that don't know what they're doing, they don't know what to build, stuff like that. And they asked me and other of the competitive players, like, hey, how do I become like a good Pokemon player? Like, I'm not sitting here and telling you like I'm the best in the world. I'm not. I'm decent. I say that all the time, that I'm decent. I'm very luck based. The reason I win is majority because of luck. It's not skill based at all. But there are other players that are like skill based players. But the reason why I'm good at the game, the reason why I can win most, if not some of my games, it's because I had good fundamentals. And that's important in everything. Like, just fundamentals pretty much creates a base of who or what you're gonna be depending on what you're playing. So with that said, I'm here today to give you guys some fundamentals, give you guys a nice little breakdown on how to be a better player, how to deck build and stuff like that. So, but I'm not gonna use like a already built deck. Like, I'm not gonna use a competitive deck. I'm not gonna use Gyarados, Gardevoir, Mega Ray. Like, I'm not using any of that because I want to give you guys something that's attainable, you know. So with that said, I'm gonna be using one of these. It's one of your regular structure decks. It's a Sun and Moon Guardians Rising Hidden Moon theme deck. You get these at Target, Walmart, Toys R Us, or your local distributor or your local shop that can give you one of these. So the reason why I chose this is because it's attainable. It's not like something like, oh, I need to buy these cards to build the deck. With this, it's something easier, and it just gives you a sense of like what it is to play the game. You know, I've actually never cracked one of these open because I usually buy my individual cards and build my decks. How I have said many times. Hence why I don't have trades, and hence why I don't carry on around big binders. But that's the reason why I chose this, so we can crack it open together and we can go through what's in here, so then you guys have an idea of what it is to build a deck, because this seems like a very solid deck just for beginners. So this video is mostly for beginners. So yeah, with that said, let's get into this, and I'm gonna teach you a couple techniques on how to play and stuff like that. Let's do it. Alright guys, so let's get into this and see what is in here. I always have trouble cracking one of these open. It's just, I have trouble cracking anything open, but whatever's. Anyways. Okay, so we got this open. So in here, we have a deck, I guess. We have the promo card that was in front of the box. We have a code. Huh, that's cool. We have damage counters. And then we have a poison counter, and we have a GX counter, and this is also our burn counter. That's pretty neat. We have a coin, which you can use to flip heads or tails. We also have a playmat, which is really neat. But for the purpose of this exercise, I don't think we need it. But yeah, or maybe. Yeah, sure, this will help out. Let's just leave this here. So yeah, anyways, where was I? And then more promotional stuff. Okay, so let's get into this box, or let's get into this deck, see what we get in here. So we have energies, we have Pokemon, and this looks like a psychic and a fire deck. Cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to split it up between energies, trainers, and Pokemon. that's just how I do it. That's how I break it down, because it's just easier to go through what you have that way. Oh, that was there. Not gonna lie, I probably should have done this preemptively, but I wanted you guys to see that I didn't tamper with the box or anything like that, that I'm playing it as is. Yeah. So pretty much when you're building any deck, you want to make sure that your distribution of Pokemon and energies balances out. If you're running multicolor, like in this case you're running both fire and psychic, you want to balance that out. So, and it looks like it's pretty fairly balanced here. Your trainer lineup, depending on the deck that you're building, you want to have a good amount of trainers, because those are the cards that are going to get you out of tight situations. So yeah, and last but not least, your energy count. Your energy count, it's based on your deck. Most decks use anywhere from 8 to 14 energies. That's just for the most part. There are decks out there that don't use 4 energies. For example, Gyarados, Aerodactyl. Those are decks that only use 4 energies. Those are 4 special energies. That's all it needs to like come in and swing. That's it. So it's all just based on the deck that you're playing at the end of the day, you know? Same thing with Tauros and Giratina. They only use special energies. They don't use like a majority of any other energies. So that's also another thing to consider. So yeah, in this deck, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We have 12 psychics, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 8 fires. But it's fine because the majority of psychic Pokemon in this deck is higher than the majority of fire Pokemon, because obviously the main purpose of the deck is the Lunala. Just separating these two, we have good distribution. Yeah. So yeah, there you guys have it. This is the psychic deck. So we got these cards. I know I'm going a bit too fast and you guys probably can't see it. And then we have the fire cards. I'm not organizing them completely because I am going to shuffle this and do some like mock runs so you guys can take a look at it. So yeah, and then here are our trainers, which for the most part these are all Sun and Moon, Guardian Rising trainers, and it's good because this is stuff that most of you that are new to the scene are playing with anyways. So yeah, when you get a deck, you usually you spread it out, you do your deck list, and all your cards are clumped together. So all your Pokemon are clumped together, all your trainers are clumped together, and all your energies are clumped together. One method of shuffling, which is what I'm going to show you right now, what we call it a power shuffle. So what we do is we get a good stack of our cards, we divide it into 4, and we just keep dividing it into 4. This way, you get to distribute the cards evenly through the deck, so then you get a good shuffle and your cards don't stack. This playmat is not helping at all because it keeps moving around, but it's okay. We're gonna use it for the demonstration right now. I know you guys are impressed with my shuffling skills. Then I usually grab like a stack and I give it a nice little shuffle. You can shuffle this way, you can shuffle like this, whatever is more comfortable for you. Obviously, practice makes perfect. Trust me, when I started, I wasn't shuffling like this. I was shuffling like this. So yeah, but then I learned how to do this. So yeah. Ta-da! And last but not least, you put them all together, and you give these a nice little shuffle. Oh, see, I'm not great. I just dropped cards. I'm bad. So yeah, one thing I will tell you guys that are new to the scene, some people, they become what we call rarity fanatics. They want the shiniest, the best cards, the biggest, the most expensive cards. I've learned over the years, those cards, you don't really need them. A common card does the same thing that a foil does, and that's why I like Pokemon. That it isn't money based like other games like Magic or like Yu-Gi-Oh or anything like that. So yeah, so always think about that as well. And the reason I bring that up is because I usually shuffle like this. I shuffle all my cards like this just to get a good shuffle in, so then we don't have duplicates stacking with each other. So yeah, obviously you don't have to do that because as you can already see, I've already bent the cards. But that's just how I treat my cards because they're my cards. Like, I really don't care what happens to them, you know? But to each their own. So yeah, so after you get a nice good shuffle in, you place your deck on the side, okay? Well, first of all, you hand your deck to your opponent cuts it. If your opponent cuts it once, then that's it. You can't do any other things to the deck. It has to go into your deck zone. But if your opponent cuts it more than once, so like this is 3 cuts or 2 cuts, you get to do a final cut. This is a rule that it's known in the Pokemon community, but a lot of people don't know it, but that's why I'm here, to teach you. So yeah, so if your opponent cuts your deck more than once, you get a final cut, and then you put it in your deck zone. Once you put it in your deck zone, then you draw 7 cards. You want to make sure that when you're drawing, I know that what I did right now was not appropriate because that's not how you're supposed to draw, so I'm going to do it again the appropriate way. So you pick one up and you put it in your hand. Now this looks weird because I'm used to using my right. I'm going to use my left. So you put them like this and you put one by one into your hand. The reason for this, and this is for anytime you draw any cards from a card effect or for your turn or anything like that, the reason is because if for some reason you made a mistake, so let's say I drew an 8th card, right? So instead of drawing the 7, I drew the 8th. We know which card it was, and it's a reversible action. It's something that you can take back and put it back, you know? That's pretty much how the rule is played. But if you randomly put like 3, 4, and then like 2, the order gets mixed up and you don't really know where the cards have landed, and that can get you a disqualification. So these are just little things that lots of people aren't aware of. So yeah, anyways, now that you have 7 cards in your hand, you want to look at your hand. You want to look for any basic Pokemon. So anything that says on top here, it'll say it up here. Basic. Okay. Anything like this, you want to put it into your active face down. If you have an extra one, you want to put it on your bench as well. You also want to look at the cards and their effects. Depending on their effects, that's where you want to place them. At this point in time, the Mimikyu is better to be as my active. I totally forgot, prior to all of this, you need to figure out who's going first or second. So we determined that by a coin flip. So I'm going to throw it in the air and call it. So I'm going to say tails. And that is tails, ladies and gentlemen. So quote unquote, if this was a real match, I'd go first. Okay. So once you have your basic Pokemon set up, you then you place your prizes. You place 6 of them. These 6 prizes, you will get them every time you knock out one of your opponent's Pokemon. So there's ways to get multiple prizes. So if you knock out one Pokemon, you'll get a prize. If you knock out an EX, you'll get 2 prizes. And it says it on the card. So yeah. So reading your cards is very important as well, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you guys are reading your cards. So yeah. Anyways, now just for the sake of the tutorial, if for whatever reason you didn't get basic Pokemon, what happens is before you put your prizes, you shuffle your hand back into your deck. You shuffle and you draw a new set of 7 cards. With that new set, if you get a basic among them, then you play it down. If you do not get a basic, then your opponent gets to draw your opponent gets to draw an additional card already for the first time that you shuffled, and if not, he keeps drawing until you get a basic Pokemon. That's pretty much how it goes down. So yeah, but in this case, I actually got a basic Pokemon, so we're good. So I'm gonna reveal that and reveal that. So I have a Mimikyu up and a Cosmog, and since I'm going first, I don't get to attack. The person that goes first does not get the first attack, but they do get to set up and do whatever they need to get done. So I will draw for my turn. I drew a basic, so I'm gonna put it on the bench. I do have the Beware that evolves from it, but you can't evolve the first turn unless you're using specific cards that allow you to do that. You can't evolve the first turn. So this turn, I'm just gonna do that. I'm going to play a supporter. This is Howl. It lets me draw 3 cards. So I'll draw 1, 2, 3. Okay. So I drew 3, and I'm going to place another Pokemon on the bench, and I will end my turn. There's not too much that you can do during the first turn, because the first turn is always the turn that you try to set up. For the most part, I'm pretty set. Unless my opponent pulls some crazy things, then I'll be in trouble. But for the sake of the exercise, I'm just going to play out a couple turns just so you guys get a feel of how it is to play. So my opponent does whatever they need to do. He says pass. It is now my turn. If he attacks, then I put damage on my Pokemon. But for the sake of the exercise, we're just going to say he passed. So I'm going to draw. I yet to have an energy, which is bad. You don't want to not have an energy. So yeah, I'm going to play Timer Ball. Flip 2 coins for each head. Search your deck for an evolution Pokemon, reveal it, and put it in your hand. So I shall flip. That is tails. And I'll flip again, and that is heads. So I will search for 1. I think I'm in trouble. If this was an actual match, I would be in so much trouble. I'm gonna add this, because this is the purpose of the deck anyways. I know this is bad because I don't have an energy yet. So now, because my Pokemon have been here for 1 turn, I can evolve as much as I want. Not as much, so I can't skip multiple stages, but I can evolve multiple Pokemon at the same time. So I can evolve this, I can evolve that, and I can bring out Beware. Beware of the bear. But because I have no energies, I can't attack, so I'm gonna pass. More than likely, by this turn, my opponent should have something, so more than likely they would do some damage. For the sake of the exercise, I keep saying that. For the sake of the exercise, I'm gonna say my opponent did 30 damage. So you put 30 damage counters on your Pokemon, and that ends your opponent's turn. So now it's my turn. I get to draw an energy. I'm going to... When you play... Oh, I didn't read its effect. So when I evolve this, I draw 3 cards. So that's kind of reversible because I didn't play anything. Oh, cool, perfect. I should have done that earlier. Here's the energy that I needed. I'm gonna use Flitch. Flitch lets me draw 2 cards. So I'll draw 2. And then it's my opponent's turn. More than likely, my opponent should have enough energy on the board. He'll get this. He'll get a knockout. So he'll kill this. And with that said, my opponent more than likely will take a prize. Now that he knocked out my Pokemon, I have to promote something. So I have to look at my hand and look at the Pokemon that are on the board and see where I want to promote. So because I don't have 3 energies to attack with him, and this just lets me switch my Pokemon around, I'm going to bring this out. And I'm going to draw for turn. I'm going to play Nest Ball. Nest Ball lets me search my deck for a basic Pokemon, put it on the bench. Wish I had another Mimikyu. Because of the position that I'm in, it's going to be really hard for me to get out of this one. So yeah, I'm going to get a Cosmog. And then I have an energy. I'm gonna add an energy. and I'm gonna slap for 20. And then once my attack is done, it's my opponent's turn, so they're gonna play whatever they need to play. More than likely they're doing enough damage because it's been a couple turns where I haven't done anything, so more than likely they're, and I've missed a couple energy attachments. I missed 2 energy attachments already, so that's not great. More than likely they're gonna knock this out. I'll bring this up. The reason I brought this up, it's not because I'm gonna draw one. It's just to bait it out, because the point of the deck is to get this set up, and also I might be able to do something with this later on, but it's not looking too great right now. So I'm gonna use Kukui. I draw 2 cards. I'm gonna attach an energy, and I'm gonna use Dust Gathering, so let me draw a card. And yet again, my opponent will knock this out. I'll bring this up, and I'll draw for turn. Cool, perfect. I'll evolve here. I'll place this here. I'm not sure if there's 2 Bewares in this deck, but I'll place this. And I'll place another one of these. And I will pass. Actually, yeah, energy here, and then I'm gonna pass. So it's my opponent's turn. More than likely they're doing probably like 100 damage if we're both using like structure ducks. So I draw for turn. Evolve here, and then I'm gonna evolve here. So now my opponent's Pokemon is poisoned and burned. I'm going to, oh, I just saw a combo. I'm gonna pass. More than likely my opponent's Pokemon is gonna get burn damage. This is gonna die, and then I'll promote this. By this, my opponent has 4 prizes, so it's really hard for me to come back from this one, especially since I'm not drawing energies. I'm gonna use Rescue Treasure, put a Pokemon from my discard pile into my hand, and I'm gonna evolve the Beware, and I'll draw 3 cards. See, once you figure out the deck, then you can start doing shenanigans like I am. Cool. And I already touched energy here. You can only attach 1 energy per turn, so don't try to put like 2 energies on the same turn, because that's no bueno. Let's see, I'm going to check my discard pile, because I have a card that I can possibly use, and I am going to use it. Energy Retrieval. Energy Retrieval lets me get 2 energies from my discard pile back into my hand. And I'm going to pass. My opponent probably is doing another 100, so I will draw. I'm going to attach energy here. If he's doing 100, so that'd be a 200. No, there's no point in using it. Oh, well, just in case. Potion, so heal for 20. If this was a real game, I wouldn't use the potion, because I know my opponent's doing 100, and there's no point in me healing because he'll still get a knockout. But just because, I'm using it just for the sake of the exercise. Okay, so I'm gonna pass. My opponent will get a knockout. So my opponent has 1 prize left now, I believe. Yeah, it's not looking good. And more than likely he has other things set up on the bench, but I'm gonna attach here. This it has for Shatter Shot for 1 energy. This attack does 40 times the number times the amount of psychic energies attached to this Pokemon. And it also has for 3 energies, Wings of the Moon. 130, move all energy from this Pokemon to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. So that's not bad, because what you can do is, if I had another one set up, I can do 130, and if I know this is gonna die, I'll move it all here. But yeah, but because it's so late in the game, more than likely this game I would have lost if this was an actual match. So yeah, so that's pretty much the basics on how to play. It's just a rough breakdown. I know that the deck didn't really perform how I wanted it to perform, But this was just a rough draft, so then most of you get an idea of what it is to play a card game and how to strategize. You saw how I started like playing a little bit differently once I figured out how the deck functions. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So there you guys have it. That was pretty much just like a mini tutorial on how to play Pokemon. I know that it wasn't that great because I wasn't drawing what I needed to draw. But for the most part, that's pretty much how it goes down. Those are just like the fundamentals. Pokemon placement, evolution sequence, how many trainer supporters you can play per turn, energy attachment, all that good stuff, you know. Drawing, mulligans, and prize collection and stuff like that. So yeah, I hope this was helpful to somebody. You know, that's pretty much why I did it. Because lots of people ask me all the time, they're like, David, how do I do this? Or like, am I doing this correctly? You know, and I'm a very helpful person. I am trying to be a teacher, so like that's legit the goal. That's why I go to school and stuff. So I don't mind helping people learn. That's what I'm doing. That's what I like doing, you know. I don't mind sitting down and being patient with people and helping them out. So hopefully this helps out somebody. If so, let me know in the comments and share the video. Hopefully someone gets some type of benefit out of this, which is what I'm trying to do. I am planning on doing more of these because I want to do like other decks. Like I want to teach you guys combos. I'm gonna showcase Gyarados, maybe the Spare Ray Gardevoir, Metagross, if I can get Ryan to let me borrow that. More than likely he will. He's probably gonna be the first person to see this, and he's gonna probably call me right away and be like, you want it? Here you go. Use it for the channel, for the greatness of the channel. But sorry, Ryan, I'm sorry, but that's just how overexcited you are. But yeah, that was me trying to mimic your excitement. But yeah, so yeah, pretty much I'm gonna do like little showcases of decks and show you guys the combos and stuff like that. So for those of you that are getting into Pokemon or that are new to the Pokemon scene, before you invest, because Pokemon's an investment, like you gotta put money into a deck, you gotta put in time and stuff like that. Before you do any of that, maybe you want to know what the deck does. I have said it before and I will say it again. Everyone plays differently because we all have unique play styles. Some people are more strategic, some people are more guns in, let's go, I'm gonna do some damage and like I'm gonna call it a day. There's different types of play styles. There's control, like there's tons of play styles, and that's what makes the Pokemon community great, because it isn't based on like your deck. Like you can have one of the worst decks, but if you're just more of a strategic player than an aggressive player, more than likely you're gonna win the games. But in some scenarios, if you're a more aggressive player than a strategic player, you'll probably win some games too. You just have to have synergy with your deck. That's pretty much the gist of it. So yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please honestly, let me know in the comments. Just go ham. Don't hold back, because I want some feedback. And for the most part, you guys are very honest with me, and I'm very thankful for that. And I love that you guys love I love that you guys love what I'm doing, and that's why I do it anyways. I do it for you guys, and like I say in every video, I do it for you guys. But yeah, with that said, guys, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to share the video so then other people can get a glimpse of what it is to play beginner Pokemon. And thank you guys for all the support. See you guys next time.